Welcome back to the Not Televised Revolution. God, I love this song. Don't panic, don't panic, don't panic. I'm back with Dr. Cock, and today Doc has agreed to be ambushed by me.
Wait for the intro. Okay, alright, go ahead.
Indeed. Doc has fallen into my devious trap. And here I am without the link ready. Here we go. Boom. So, I know everyone that follows Doc is a video game player. So just think about this as the tutorial.
The tutorial.
This is the tutorial.
Tutorial for what?
Well, did you get the link I sent you in the chat room here?
Oh, I don't see anything in here. Yeah, I know you sent me one in the private chat, but let me check. Oh, okay, here it is. Pick song?
Nope.
Pick song.
Here.
No.
That's the only way I know how to communicate.
Audacity team? No, I don't have. Oh, okay, let me check the regular channel. Okay, no, I don't see. Oh, you sent it to my private. Okay, let me put it in the text channel.
Wow, we are so professional. Remember, everyone, this is only our second attempt at this.
Third. This is our third, technically. Okay, so go to quiz politics. Oh, this ought to be interesting.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Discover your place on the political spectrum. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's start it. Laws should restrict abortion in all or most cases. Disagree strongly. Okay. Unions.
How much does it matter? How much does it matter to you?
How much does it matter? Alright, I'll just keep it in the middle there. Unions were indispensable in establishing the middle class. Unions were indispensable. Ah, yes, I would agree. Yes, strongly agree. How much does it matter? Well, I don't really care, to be honest. I was in the union before.
Did it help you out? Does it matter to you a lot or not?
Moderately, but not a lot. In nearly every, I'm moderate in that sense because, you know, I was in the union, I experienced it. I worked a lot of construction. Even that, I'm not a like pro-union guy because they try to strong arm you too. You know, they help you get a job, they train you, but as long as you fucking go with their way, I'm super like. I want to control my life. I want to control the aspects, and someone else is like holding all the cards. I don't like it. And someone's like, "Oh, you got to pay this. Oh, you got to pay that. You got to come here at this." I don't like that bullshit. So, if you could just follow.
That's awesome, Doc. I asked you to bring your honesty and your courage.
Yeah.
I had the same answer, except for to me, I think it matters a lot that workers have some control over their workplace.
Yeah, and I just don't
honesty
like.
and courage are here.
I don't
honesty
like.
is welcome.
I mean, they just try to control everything too much. It's good in a sense, but for me personally, I didn't like certain aspects about it. But hey, if I'm working, you know, and then on the other side, if you're able to just follow the rules and just listen to them, you're gonna come out really well on top. I mean, financially, you're gonna come out like really well. I mean, you're gonna have lots of money and you won't have any fucking problems. So if you're the kind of guy who can just follow the rules and do what they say, you'll be fine. I mean, you'll be more than fine. You'll be buying a house very soon. So anyways, in nearly every instance, the free market allocates resources most efficiently. I'm neutral on that. Okay. Does it matter? Neutral. Public radio, television, funded by the state, provided valuable service.
I'm sorry, Doc. My roommate just came home. I didn't get to talk about question 3 with you.
Oh, okay. So I just said, in nearly every instance, the free market allocates resources most efficiently. I'm neutral on that.
Okay, so that the free market includes like monopolies like Amazon. You
Yeah.
think Amazon is allocating resources efficiently?
I'm neutral. I mean, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't bother me, and I'm not against him running a monopoly on that. I did have more of a say when it came to the monopoly about Microsoft, because I felt
Okay.
like they were a little bit too powerful, if you know what I mean. Now Google is in the same sense. They're a little bit too powerful. So if Google starts buying up shit and there's no control there, no oversight from the government, I'm pretty concerned about that because I don't want them to do bad things. But when I look at their history, one of the interesting things they did was as of the past 5 or 6 months ago, they tried to make this thing where they could scan all the books in the world and they could put them all online for free. And there was a big fight, and they were basically kind of forced out of that. They were not able to continue with that. So they had this incredible book scanning machine that they made, and they were going to do all this shit. They still have the Google Books platform, but it's not what it was going to be, what the idea was going to be. If they had done that, I would think that's, in the ideal world, that's amazing. That's fucking great. I just want to read a book, you know? I want to read a fucking book. I don't want to pay some library fee, you know? So the pushback on that, I didn't like that, you know? But at the same point, yeah, you do have to control people who's trying to just control everything. Because if, in one sense, if then it becomes, oh, well, they own all the books, okay, that's a huge fucking problem. Because it doesn't mean that they own it just because they scanned it and they're putting it on the web. Which, and that's the thing, is when I look at their history, I don't think they're trying to control everything. I think they just want to help people and spread the information. So, you know, there is an extent, you know. Hello?
Something to think about. Next question.
Okay. Public radio and television funded by the state provided a valuable service to the citizens. I'm kind of neutral on that. I don't really like state-run stuff because depending on who the president is, it tends to lean left or right. It's never neutral. It's never, as when you get the news, for example, you never get unbiased news. You always get
That's Yeah,
news
that's a pretty
that's
good answer. And that's a pretty good answer. And there's 50 of these, so keep
and
going.
when you look at things like NPR and everything, which I love NPR, but
They're funded by the enemy. They're funded by the oil companies and the weapons manufacturers
well, I don't see that because when I
and the
listen to it,
bank.
I hear a left-leaning persona on there. Well, and this is, I'm listening to a specific one. It's called NPR TED Talks, and those are my favorite right now. I really like
Those are
that.
fun. Yeah.
I listen to them constantly, and they're so informative and educational that what anything. But I hear things that I don't like sometimes, and what that
Right.
tells me is that the direction their political associations where they lie, and so I don't think it's fair for them to say, for example, I don't agree with global warming, and I don't agree with uh, what else? Racism arguments that the left would propose on that thing, and so they're very strong on their view, and they think, well, you have to be for global warming, and yes, you have to be against the racism thing, and I think it's a little bit too much for me to swallow, and I kind of just want to tell them shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear what they want to say about that. Like, you know what I mean? They just shove it down your throat, and it's like,
Right.
they're free to have their opinion, but for them to say
Yeah.
that they're right, that's a little bit of a stretch for me, you know?
Yeah, no,
So,
this is a very nuanced question, and I spent some time on it too. And in my heart of hearts, like the most important thing is independent journalism,
I agree.
which
That's the
you know,
point. It's like it's amazing if they can
real,
be neutral and not stick to this whole oh, we
or
have
at
this
least
stance.
at least admit to their bias. Like when I come on, I have a bias. The thing that's great about my bias is it's not for the Democrats or the Republicans. My bias is for the people. We need a new party that's not either one of those parties. We need a party that represents us. And my friend, there's a lot of questions on this, and we're going to learn a lot through this. It's going to be the best tutorial you've ever played.
Okay,
Let's go to the
next
next one.
one. Five. Some
That was a
people
good.
should not be allowed to reproduce. Um, we can't. In the idealist sense of the word, yeah, we can have a statement on this. But in the realness of the situation, we can't play God and decide who's going to have a baby and who's not. But when you look in the most ideal sense of the world, you don't want to have a family that's split apart, one where the dad left the mom and then you got this child in between, which I have those families. I was in that family. I was raised that way, and I was married and divorced to a woman, and now we have a poor young daughter there, 4 or 5 years old now, which I don't have a relationship. I have no way to do anything with her. That's the most negative situation for a child, a baby growing up. That child is going to be damaged and ruined. So should there be things put in place to say, well, wait a minute, can you support this kid? Well, wait a minute, are you going to get married? Because when I listen to, I'll tell you something that really inspired me as far as life and marriage goes. Is Ben Shapiro said that one of the things that you need to do if you want to become a millionaire or just escalate yourself from out of the poor zone into the middle class is, one, you need to graduate from high school, two, you need to get married, and three, you need to never stop working and just do your best to support them. If you do those three things, you're going to escalate yourself out of the poor zone and into the middle class immediately and on your way to the $1 million. And it's true. And why are those things true? Because when you stick faithful to your wife, you have a special bond and connection with that person. Then you have a dual income source, which boosts your income by two. And then you have a system where you're trying to support your child, and by you two staying together and not divorcing, you're creating a positive child in the world. Whereas the opposite, a child who's in a broken family, it could have a strong chance to be a negative child in that environment. So in the idealist sense of the world, yeah, we should put limits on who can have a child. If I look at myself back in the time, I probably shouldn't have had that fucking kid. That was stupid. I was marrying a woman to get a visa, and I just thought I wanted to have a baby. That was dumb. So, yeah, I mean, it's a tough question, but I'm gonna have to put neutral here because we don't live in the idealistic world. We live in the real world, and people just do what they want, and you can't force people to do stuff. So, hello.
Yeah, yeah, that was a nuanced and reasonable answer, and that's what this is all about. You're learning about yourself, and it's awesome. Good, it's good content.
Um, Number six, access to healthcare is a right. In the idealist sense of the world, I would strongly agree with that because my mouth is full of cavities, and I need dentistry, but I don't have the money to really afford it. However, that right would definitely include you paying into the system in some way. In Japan, we have a national healthcare plan. And how that works is everybody pays into the system. And then if you don't pay, you don't get access to it. I mean, generally. It's pretty cheap. It's like $20 to $40 a month. It works, again, because everyone pays. And this is generally a
Yeah,
middle
yeah.
class society. And the negative sides of that are that the doctors are no longer high-end income earners. Yeah, they make more than three. Let's say on average they make like 5 grand a month plus. But they get forced into a system that puts them into this kind of slave labor thing where they're forced to uh, have somewhere between 20 and 40 patients a day. And if they don't fill those requirements, they're not under the law. That's great for the greater good, the people. And I think that's what's important here. It is important that even if you're a doctor, the highest education platform we have, you still need to think about the people and can't just be a greedy guy and only care about your own income. So I like that. But when I think about the aspect of if I was a doctor, I would probably be pretty fucking angry about that. What do you think?
Well, I'm glad you're giving me a turn on this. You answer it the way you're going to answer. Uh, Answer it and announce your answer before I speak on it. In fairness, so I'm not bending your answer.
Yeah.
So how did you answer?
Oh, I put strongly agree, and how much
Yeah.
does it matter? Just moderate.
Okay. So I strongly agree that healthcare is a right, and I think it matters a lot. And because once we view healthcare as a right, what we do is we take the insurance companies that are just making money off of our illnesses out of the picture. And so,
Yeah.
we're making a dent in the corrosiveness that is capitalism. Speaking of, question number 7 is probably my favorite on the list.
The rich should pay a higher tax rate, but let's go back to that. Uh, Healthcare is a right because I like what you said there. You know, you think that it should be a right. Um, Sorry, I lost my
It
frame.
would
Let's.
be cheaper. It would actually be cheaper for all of us if we just take the greedy insurance people out of the middle.
Yeah, I hate
And
insurance
we'd
people.
be able to still pay doctors just as well.
Yeah,
You
no.
know, and I'm sad and upset that Japan is not paying its doctors well. And and and
But that no,
our
but that's the
Republican friends
result
in
of what you're
America
at.
love to point
Oh,
that
okay, I
shit,
remember now.
and that's why it's never going to work.
But no,
See,
that's the result of what you're asking for. You have That's what you have to
not in,
realize.
not in every country,
No,
not
but
in
it
every country.
no, but across the board, Grinch, you got to realize that's what it is. If you're asking for that, that's what you get. I mean, generally. I mean,
It's
you don't agree?
Well, no, what I think though is like, if you look around in America and you see like nurses on the front lines, like, nurses are really vocal and loud in America about Medicare for all. They're not greedy. They want to be able to help people. They're upset that like they have to sit around and play on their phones instead of being able to help people all day. Like that's from what I've seen.
Yeah, but I mean, it sounds like you kind of like dodged the question there. I mean, what we're saying is that if you think it's a right, this is basically what you get. This is what you can see in the history of
Okay.
the majority of the countries that have it now. It's very similar, if not exactly the same. And so if you're asking for that, that's what you're going to get. It doesn't mean doctors are going to be poor, but it means they're actually going to have to work their butts off, and they're going to get not a median wage, but they're not going to be making millions, probably. And
No, that wasn't the full on dodge. I think, people in America want access to healthcare, and like even if we had subpar healthcare that was available to everyone, we'd still be getting a lot more than what we got right now.
so you're still
And
for it. I mean,
what would happen, is I would be on the side of paying the doctors more. We can never stop speaking up for our rights. And so once we do finally speak loud enough to get our Medicare for all, then we speak even louder to get fair payments for the doctors. We don't stop just because we have
I agree with that. Yeah.
Medicare. Like it's
And
we're
it's
past
similar
that. We're
and
past that.
and it's
And I'm
very
not dodging. I will never dodge a question.
but it's also that you mentioned that it's very interesting because we're talking about the having national care healthcare debate, and if you look at our educational system today, we have that. You know what I mean? It's the same system. We don't have it for healthcare, but we have it for education. So what do you see? You see the teachers are underpaid. You see that yes, people are fighting for that. It's not really going through probably as well as we'd like. We want them to be paid more, but they're generally they're in the unions and they need those unions to help fight for better wages, etc., etc. But that's the same situation. What do you think about that?
Well, what I think is that we need to get money out of politics. If we were able to get money out of politics, it'd be a lot easier for labor unions to have rights to represent themselves, including teachers. They would have the rights to, demand wages. The people could be heard if money wasn't louder than the people's voices. And, I'm sure you've heard of Citizens United. In the Supreme Court, they said money equals the same thing as speech. And that was the nail in the coffin. And that's why everything is important.
Hold on. On that note,
So how did you answer?
I gotta pee real quick. I'll be right back. Be right back.
All right. We're still going? Cool. So, come on in, buddy.
Are you recording now, still?
He's still recording, but he's on a break.
Okay. So, who else has been in this house today?
No one?
So you've been like working in the living room?
I...
Okay. All right, I'm back. So, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, let me get my coffee. Hold on. Be right back. Coffee.
Damn it.
So, this has got to be.
Doc, you need to edit that part out, please. That was like a 2-minute break, please.
I'm not editing anything. I'll send it to you and you fucking edit it. How about that? Okay.
All
right. So,
my favorite question.
wait.
What's the timestamp right now? What's the timestamp?
Let me check. We got 8 minutes left. But I was just gonna say, this is such a big topic.
Yeah.
I feel like we can't move on. I mean, this is like the biggest topic we will ever discuss. Because when you think about what is the solution, you think about, okay, is world peace and free global trade the solutions to get to that point? If they are, then you're talking about also, because we're talking about basic human rights and services and what you should have, free education, you should have free health care, those said people should be paid well enough. Then you have to touch on free basic income, and when you come to that point, you bring yourself into a futuristic Star Trek type of world where our sense of money is not the same as it was in the past, where you just work and you get a wage and then you live, where money doesn't become the driving force in our society any longer. And so, yes, we all have these basic rights of healthcare and food and living, and the problem that you find in that with humans in general, I'm not saying it's flawed because we'll get there eventually, but the problem you find with humans in general is if you have all these basic rights and you don't have a job or you don't have anything going for you, you follow yourself into a state of depression, because working helps you keep your mental stronger. It is the struggles in life that help us enjoy the positive things in life. So I think those really become the thing. So I guess in the sense you can't have a world without negatives. You can't have a world where you just don't have a job. It's fascinating. It's fascinating.
Right, but at the same time, if the actual benefits of our technological advances, if the benefits of automation actually go to the people, it can be our job to express ourselves. It can be our job to do podcasts. It could be our job to make
Right.
paintings, make music.
There's always something to be done. Yeah, I
Yeah.
see your point. And
It could be our job to raise children,
right,
or
and
to help raise children.
that's a big
That would help everyone.
and that's a big topic right there. I mean, they say that when you're raising a child, the most important thing, and this comes also with a wife, we have the topic that's called pair bonding. When you meet a potential wife or mate and she's never had sex, she's a virgin, that creates the best possible pair bonding situation you would have with a potential mate versus a woman who, say, slept with 10 guys, because their sexual mind and their ability to pair bond with you is extremely affected. I was very lucky to find a virgin, so I'm not worried about that. And that's why I love Japan, because there's tons of virgins. And why is that? Because their ideals and beliefs and manners and systems of respect and culture are a little bit higher elevated and stronger than we have basically as a large group in America, which I've come to respect. But when you look at it at the child rearing side of the thing, the children, you must pair bond with the child. In order to pair bond with the child, and this is within the first 3 years of the child's life, you can't be working a full-time job. You have to be with the child, both mother and father, to create the proper pair bond with them so that they respect you fully and you have this emotional relationship that goes deeper and beyond than any other relationships that you have in your life. And yeah, in this world, that day and day society, that's tough. That's tough to be at home with your kids. But if you could, that's the best situation.
Right. So you believe that access to healthcare is a right, kind of moderately.
Yeah, definitely. And I accept the consequences. But do you?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think we're pretty close to being on the same page. I said my piece, but I was concise about it. My next question is the favorite one on the list.
Oh, okay.
Number
Alright,
7.
Okay, hold on. Number 7, the rich should pay a higher tax rate than the middle class. Well,
Whoop, whoop.
let's take a look at that. You have to ask the question, of course, how rich are they? So, if you make let's say you make $10 an hour, right? That puts you in the bottom class. Let's say you make $1 million a year. That puts you in the top class. So obviously there should be different tax rates there. Essentially saying that you should be paying based on what you make, a percentage, and that should be only fair. And I don't think that that's really an issue nationally. I think that's pretty much how it works. When you go to the tax office, you have a tax bracket. And
All right, tell us all what you're clicking on, and I'll give my quick answer, and let's try to roll through some of these.
Okay, I choose agree and moderate.
Okay, I chose I agree strongly, and the issue matters to me more than anything, pretty much. To me, I think there should be an absolute infinite amount of tax brackets. Say last year I made like $11,000 and you made $10,000. We're both poor as hell, but I'm actually gonna pay more taxes than you because there's infinite brackets.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Even if I made $1 more than you, I might pay a penny more in taxes than you. Just infinite brackets. Question 8.
Hold on. Yeah.
Or you can dwell on that.
Hold on. Yeah, there was something I wanted to say. I kind of lost my frame of mind here. All right, let's just move on. I lost what I was going to say. Okay. Number 8, school science classes should teach intelligent design. Intelligent design. I think that, of course, you always have the separation of a separation of church and state. And intelligent design is a religious belief that we are created from God, or one maker, or one source. But you can tell that if you look deeper into ourselves, that we were created intelligently, and there is a proof of a God in science. So we're now mixing God and science. I think we got to be careful with that one. On the one side, I do respect and appreciate the religious, moral values that you learn from the Christian state. Okay, that's our 30-minute timer, but we'll just keep going. It's fine. Let me set another timer here. Hold on. I'll set another 30-minute timer. Reset. Yes.
Maybe we'll do this 10 questions at a time, and we should just schedule it like that.
It's we'll keep going. So yeah, I do respect the religious values and the morals that we get from that. I think this is kind of a dangerous question because it tends to not be inclusive of everything. This is a trap question, basically. So it's asking you, do you think we should teach religion in school? That's the real question. So here's the trap. Here's where the trap in the question is. The trap is people who strongly believe in private education and they are on a religious upbringing side of things will fight strongly for things like intelligent design and that God is the one. But they won't teach the other side. They won't combine the two. And that's wherein the problem lies. You can't have one side without the other. The most ideal situation is that public schools and all the private schools have the same education rules, whether they're paying or they're private. We cannot just teach religious kids that God is the only one in school. That's not really fair. You have to teach them evolution. You have to teach them intelligent design. You have to teach them that, yes, our society believes in this, but there are other societies that believe this. You make the choice. You decide. I think that's really important.
Yeah, all in all, I would agree with you. And so I think what I said was, I think
I'm gonna go neutral on
little
this.
is what I said.
Yeah, I'm gonna go neutral, moderate.
But yeah, they should teach everything, including like hippieism and authoritarianism. They should tell you what people are about. They should They should
But
teach you
that's
what Marxism is. They should teach you what if they're gonna teach you Christianity in school, they might as well teach you Judaism and Islam too.
Well, yeah, of course
And
they should. There should be a religion
they should
class.
dabble in all of it.
Well, there should be a
Hinduism.
religion class, but the problem with all of this,
It should be like, and there should be a civics class. We used to have a thing called civics class.
I mean, what is the religion of science? I mean, that's a thing too. The problem with all of this is that young child minds are manipulated and brainwashed easily. When I do my job as an English teacher, my job is to brainwash them, to train them to English. This is big, this is small, the elephant is big, the mouse is small. You're brainwashing them to learn this shit. You have to. That's part of the educational system. That's how your job works as a teacher. If you don't, you're not doing a very good job, because their brains can't. That's how their brains take in stuff. You can't just converse with a child who doesn't speak the language in your native language like full on. It starts at one step. And the same thing is with the religion of science and the religion of religion. And
the religion of capitalism.
Well, yeah, and the problem is if you brainwash a child to say that the religion of science is the only one and that's all there is, and if you think religious stuff, then you're stupid. If you train them to believe that, they're going to go on believing that as an adult, and that's not really fair. And that's what my point is. It's not fair to stick one-sided on this, and there are so many teachers and so many people that have such strong beliefs on either side of the board. There's so many people that are not unbiased. That's the problem. So The real question is, should we have unbiased education in all schools? Should we have unbiased education laws? And that's what we really should have. It's not, should we believe in intelligent design? No. Should education be unbiased? Yes, it should be unbiased. This is a bait question.
Do you think this relates to freedom of speech? Should teachers be allowed to have their angle?
Yeah,
I
but you
feel like I
can't.
should be allowed to have my angle as long as I'm honest about my angle.
Yeah, but you
know
can't say.
where I'm coming from.
No,
So-
no, you can't be that strong as a teacher. You can't have definitive beliefs. It's black or white.
You would
as
fire
an
me if you
educator-
were the principal.
What's
You
that?
would fire me. You would fire me? I would be a fantastic teacher. And I would sue your ass if you fired me.
No, because you can't, as an educator, you can't have. I mean, this is controversial when you say that science is a religion. That's really controversial, because people will
Well,
fight
I wouldn't
you.
be a science teacher. I'd be a civics teacher.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, we're just having fun right now.
Well, I
So-
mean, you can't have these definitive beliefs and say. Even I'm skeptical when you look at math and you say 1 + 1 is 2 and that's a fact. I mean, you have to be unbiased at some point, and you have to realize that science is also a religion. And then so you can't then just say that, well, those guys are just idiots, you know. I do take offense, though, when religious people say things like, you know, the earth is only 10,000 years old or 1,000,000 years old, and, you know, we couldn't have lived with dinosaurs, or the vice versa, and things like that. And when you see some of the evidence, it appears, now I can't say 100%, but it appears as though science has taken the right on this one, you know. So there's definitely sides where you can say, okay, well, but it's more logical to say we are most likely right. You know, science says that you have a theory. A theory is not a fact. A theory is based on ideas that we can most likely say are true. It's not 100%. It never is. That's how science works. And that's what we should be teaching people, and how to think, create thinkers, not just followers. That's the problem with education.
Yeah, yeah, it's theories. It's all theories. No one has the actual answer, and we shouldn't act like we should. Like,
Yeah.
even when it comes to theology, the most theological thought that I have is, check it out. Say I do believe in God. It's beyond our human comprehension to be able to thoroughly describe him.
Right. Right. Okay.
And yeah, that's a view that should be taught to people. You know, if we could actually really teach all sides.
Yeah,
that'd be
and
cool.
and we don't even discuss the Asian philosophy of meditation in our Western
There you go.
educational system, and that's fucking huge. That is so big.
Right, and even some of the nerdier philosophies about how this could be a holographic universe. You know, you got to teach that if you're going to teach theology. If you're going to teach the Bible in school, you got to teach it all.
Yeah, but
That's what-
it's
yeah.
okay to teach if it's not biased. That's the, I think, general consensus. You know, but if you're like,
Right.
okay, well, God is the one, but then you got these other guys that think, you know, evolution is the one, and they're not
Well-
really right. But you know, if you teach it like
then I guess okay. So let me try to wrap this up and agree with you that there should be an elective in high school called agnostics. Agnostic theories. Or
all
something.
theories in the perfect world, all theories will be discussed, and
Yeah.
and all theories are just theories. That's
Yeah.
the real truth. There is no fact. There is no
Yeah,
100%.
critical thinking in general is highly lacking from our education system.
That's the key. That's the key. Critical thinking
Yeah.
and logic. You know, it's just like Star Trek, like the Vulcans. They're just a purely logical society. They don't involve emotions into the debate. You know,
Right,
it's most likely this, or it's most likely that. It's not a fact. You know, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, you know, you have to do this, but you probably should do that. You know, I mean, but again, it's your choice. You know, in the end, you can look at the
Okay,
facts.
so check this out. I'm feeling actually there's two more questions, and that was a great conversation about question 8. I feel really bad now that I rushed you through question 7 because to me that was a huge deal. And when I talked about the infinite progressive tax is where you had something to say and you kind of lost track. Like
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
to me that's a big deal. Like if someone makes like $1 billion a year,
Yeah.
right? Like after that, everything after $1 billion a year, it all goes back to the people, because like they're stealing it from the earth or their
Oh yeah. No.
workers in one way or another if they're making more than $1 billion.
No, that's
And
what I
so
wanted to
like
say. In an ideal, okay, here's the problem, and the problem is corruption. So,
yeah,
of course, the way it works now is the way it's supposed to work. However, they don't factor in corruption. Corruption means that they're not paying what they actually are supposed to be legally paying based on the law of our society.
yeah,
And all
yeah, and
in
they're getting around rules and they're paying off judges and yeah,
well, the all
buying
world,
politicians.
all countries have a very similar corruption where
Yeah,
they are supposed to follow this law, but somehow they're able to get around it, and they don't have to pay um, other things. However, our society would not work if we didn't have people who made millions and billions of dollars, because they are the same people who employ us. So the real question should not be should the rich pay a higher tax rate. The real question should be uh, should we prosecute corporate entities who are using legal loopholes to not pay what they should be legally paying? That's the real question. And of course, you have to strongly agree to that because what we have to follow the laws just like they should have to follow the laws.
just general fairness. They got to pay their fair share in taxes, like Bernie Sanders says. But if you're someone like me, like I want to eat the rich. I'm fed up with the rich ruling the world. But you have a balanced and level-headed approach to it, which is good. You know.
Yeah, I
So
don't think it's okay to say no rich because I don't think our society would work that way. It just makes more sense to say, look, we have to prosecute those who are doing illegal activities and not paying taxes is illegal. In any country that you go to, in any state of low class or high class, it should be more fair. And you can
yeah.
see that there is a lot of corruption in those states. So we should definitely have some
Check
anti.
this out. Check this out real quick, because I disagree with you strongly. But I don't have to yell at you, and I don't have to put you down. And this is a highlight in the conversation for me. Like
Yeah,
we have a different opinion on question 7,
yeah.
but it's all good. You know what I mean? You want to do 9 and 10,
Well, what you gonna expand on that?
or do you want to keep talking about 7?
Well, you're gonna expand on that? You just made a point,
Well,
but you
I
didn't.
think that it's unfair for billionaires to destroy the world.
That doesn't mean that you can make money and and not make money. There's a difference in morals between making money and doing negative acts. Wouldn't you agree?
Okay, well,
That's a separate
so
topic.
so to me, corruption is a problem that goes way out of control. Like we're supposed to have an environmental protection agency, and then Donald Trump puts Scott Pruitt in charge until he does too many scandals for even Trump's cabinet. Like corruption is like out of control, and it's got to be clamped down, in my opinion, my very strong
Well,
opinion. Corruption is
okay, but what level are you comfortable with? Because if you're from America, you're going to be comfortable with our level of of corruption. But if you're from the Philippines, which you just had an interview with someone from there,
Mhm.
you're going to be comfortable with a whole fucking another way crazy level of corruption
Oh,
where people are
my
being
friend
murdered in their
Alex is
homes.
not comfortable.
They're being murdered
He's
in
not
their
comfortable.
homes, and
Yeah.
they're poor as fuck, literally. I mean, you could probably buy a 4-year-old hooker in Philippines with ease. That's how poor they are there, and that's fucked up, you know. So we have a completely different level of corruption from the United States compared to the Philippines. So your woes and complaints about corruption are going to be very different from the people who live in the Philippines.
Right. I think my roommate wants to chime in.
Yeah.
You ready, Doc?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know of what.
Go for it, man.
On what
You
you
gotta
just
get
said,
kinda
I
close
agree.
to the
I
mic.
agree. I agree with
You
him.
gotta get close to
I agree with him. It's horrible that you can actually buy a child, yeah, for pennies on the dollar in any country, because yeah, there was just an article and a news thing done about children in like he said in the Philippines and in Thailand
Yep.
that you can literally go and pay money for
Yep.
and have sex with them, and in India now,
Yep. Yep.
okay,
Most poor
it's become
countries.
more of a trend around the world than it should be. There
Yeah.
are adults, grown ass adults, man, walking around acting like it's okay to find a child to satiate their lust with.
But that's not the point. The point is why, and the
The
answer
point
is
because we
corruption.
live we live in a corrupt, debauched society.
Yeah.
Because most of the people doing that are Western.
Yeah.
Most people that are participating in it, that was created by Western society when we were doing the whole war thing for the Vietnam War and the Korean War and all these wars we were over there doing. We'd be in their places in their towns, and we get hungry and lonely, and we want something, so we go out and we get drunk.
So you're
We
someone who
eat their
comes.
food. We sleep with their kids.
So you're someone. You're
Because-
someone who comes from Western society. Does that lump you in with the same group?
I'm not a participant of the debauchery of Western society,
Okay. So
but
some
I am
people,
someone who lives in a Western country,
Okay. So some
and I
people.
find it to be disgusting.
Okay. So some people in the Western society are not contributing to this disgusting thing, right?
Some people are not.
Okay. What
Some
percentage?
people in the Western society feel just the same way you feel, and the same way I feel, and it's abhorrent, and they are horrified,
Yeah.
and
So
it's a right thing to do.
would you
But
say?
they're
Go ahead.
they're not as vocal as you are. They're not as vocal as I am.
Okay. So would
Some
you?
people are cowards.
Okay, so would you say that it's the 90% that's interested in this discussive act, or it's the 1%?
I would say the more money you have, the more you're willing to engage in any form of debauchery.
Okay, so in
So poor
America,
people,
so in America,
Go ahead.
we have a population of, I don't know, but let's just say it's 500 million. Okay, so out of 500 million people, would you say it's the 90% of that group that is interested in the?
I would say less than 10% of the American population is okay with that bull.
Okay, so that's not the majority.
But you got to
and
remember
that's
something.
The minority.
The top,
right?
the money in America is owned by the top 2%.
Yeah.
So
So
what is it 1%, 2%?
yeah.
So why? So for those 500 million people you're talking about, and I just said, do the math, do the algebra, okay? For the 500 million Americans, and I said less than 10% of that 500 million
Yeah.
would be
1% of
would
1%.
be participating in that. Of that 10%, right? That 10% will probably encompass 50 to 60% of the 1%. Do you understand what I'm saying?
So what you're
If
saying
the
is
more
that
money you have, the more the fucked up things you do. That's a proven fact. We just saw that lady arrested today, the heiress from Seagram's, right? The heiress from Seagram's was arrested today, along with those other people, for that sex thing they were doing with Hollywood people, where they were kidnapping people and women and forcing them into sex slavery and all that foolishness. Those are wealthy people we're talking about. Every one of the people in that case that happened, that were arrested, the other arrests that were made today, these are people you watch on television. These are people that own things that you buy, drink, eat all the time. They were just arrested today for what you're talking about, dude.
okay.
Doc, I was going to let you off the hook, but we feel really strongly over here that billionaires are the evil destruction of the earth.
Right.
Like,
Well, let's go into that. So your argument is that if you possess a certain amount of, let's say, chickens, and let's say you have 1 billion or million chickens, and most people only have one, then that makes you, in a sense, corrupt. And you are all. Just a moment. Oh, hold on. Can I finish? So,
Yeah, go ahead.
so that also, in a sense, determines your level of morality, right? Which means that you are of the lowest morality. So because you have the most chickens,
Because
that
of what?
also just a moment. Because you have all those chickens, and everyone else has you are most likely to be of the lowest morality in the world. Is that what you're saying?
Uh, First off, that didn't make a bit of sense because you're trying to equate chickens with money. I think
No, I'm just saying if
chickens
you
pro-
change the word
chickens provide
money to the
food.
word
So if I got a
chickens,
billion chickens, that means I'm probably feeding a lot of people. You know what I'm
money
saying?
does the
And those
same thing.
chickens, that's a lot of filth that I would have to clean up and maintain and support. So it'd be costing me money, and people would have to work to actually maintain those billion chickens for me because I can't do it myself. So I'm
Right,
probably
just like a
providing
corporation.
jobs.
Just like a
Because
corporation.
I'm probably providing jobs in that regard. But
Yeah.
what I'm no, what corporate, what the? Okay, hold on a second, bro. Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
So you're telling me
Uh-huh.
that a rapper
Uh-huh.
these or anyone with because there's lots of rappers with lots of money, 100 million, $50 million, right? They make what is it, shoes and clothes and stuff, Yeezy and all
Wait,
that
wait,
bull
wait. You,
crap.
you you skipped over
They
the
got
first question and you're trying to go on to
the
the next
question that
point.
you're that because it doesn't make what you're trying to
No, it's a
correlate.
very simple question about morals and money. If you have a lot of money,
Yeah,
you are the lowest morals. Yes or no?
morals and money don't seem to go together.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
If
whoa,
you've
whoa. You're
not
talking
noticed,
about the most discriminate act a person can do, which would indicate that you have very low morals, right? People who have the highest
yes.
morals are the people who are like, "Oh, I'm a really good Christian person, and I'm a nun, right?
No,
I'm a hold
regular
hold on, hold on,
everyday
hold on,
people
just a
have
moment,
good morals, dude.
just a moment. I'm
Okay,
a
just so
nun,
you understand that,
just a moment.
regular, average, everyday people have better morals than people with money. I don't know if you understand that or
Okay,
not.
but let's
Like the
explore
common
that.
man
But
has
let's
good
explore that.
morals.
I'm not going to
Go,
accept
I'll
that
be
as a
letting
fact because you say it. Let's explore it
go. You
together.
don't have to,
But
and just
let's
like I
talk
don't
about
have
it
to
to.
accept it as a fact because you said it.
No, no, that's okay. But let's just
So
discuss
we
it.
agree to disagree that you don't have any better of a point than I do. But what we are having a
No.
conversation about is that most of the debauchery, and
Okay.
it's a fact. See, I'm going to talk about a fact,
You can say it's a
not
fact.
my
Doesn't make it a fact. But go ahead.
okay. No, I'm just going to say it as a fact
Go
because
ahead.
it's a fact. Most of the people running around right now getting caught doing horrible things to other people sexually are wealthy people with money. I'm not saying
Okay.
poor people aren't doing it. I'm not saying it's not happening in middle class society.
Uh huh.
All I'm saying is if you're looking at it from what is being shown, that you can see factually right now, billionaires and millionaires are harming people with their immoral practices
Uh huh.
because they have money and they don't feel there's a consequence.
Okay.
That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't have a care in the world for rich people. I care about the common man and that little girl who's getting raped right now
Uh huh.
by some dude who walked in a freaking room and said, "Yo, I got money," wearing a Rolex and a nice $1,000 suit, and he's gonna go rape some little girl, and he's not gonna pay any penalty for it. Now take your butt over there and do it.
Uh huh.
Let me and Dale go try to do it.
Yeah.
We'll be in jail
Yep.
in no time
Mm-hmm.
on the same day. 5 seconds later, before you even get your little pee in there, you are going to jail, Mr. Doc man. Okay, because you're not rich, bro.
All
You
right.
ain't got no money.
Let's bring this.
You can't stop that.
Let's bring this to a personal level. So, what have you personally experienced in your life, one to one with another person that, let's say, has all these resources and they've done something like this? Have you ever experienced this? Anything that would bring you to believe this so strongly?
Yeah, I used to. I'm from Florida,
Yeah.
and I used to be a dope boy drug dealer.
Yeah.
Okay, and I used to trap out of a hotel. So the owner of the hotel, who's from India and Pakistan, his wife's from Pakistan, he's from India. I was under consignment. They needed girls when their friends would come to America in the town and stay at their nice hotel, right? They would need what do you call them? What do you call them? Escorts. There it is. That's the word. Now I'm the drug dealer, mother sucker, right? From the hood, from around the area. You know what I mean? And they're asking me, "Hey, hey Chris, can you do me a favor? And I'm like, what's up? You know what I mean? And they're like, my friends are here. They need company. They need some guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? I'm like, what? Okay, so what? He's like, I see you with white girls all the time. I see you all the time. All the time you have people. All the time you have people coming and going. It's always pretty white girls. What's up? You can help us out or what? Right now, at this time, I'm like 16, 17 years old.
Yeah.
I'm a teenager. Okay, and all of my friends are teenagers.
Yeah.
Okay, and these are old ass men. These are grown ass men. Okay, and their friends who they were talking about weren't even Indian or Pakistani. They were from like Japan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where you're at, right? And or because they were Asian guys. You know what I'm saying? When I met them, they were Asian guys, and they were willing to pay $500 an hour for these young white women that they just assume I must be pimping because I'm a black guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's got white girls with him. He must be a pimp in America. We got to get him to get us some of these girls. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking at the shit going, man, what the fuck? Me and my friends are like, dude, why do they think I can hook them up with chicks just because my friends are hot?
So do you think?
You know?
Sorry to
So
interrupt.
as a personal example, that's just one personal example.
Okay.
I can expound and go further
Well,
if
let
you
me.
like.
Can I ask you a question? So, just generally, do you think selling sex, trading sex for money is a really bad moral thing?
Okay. I can't tell a woman what to do with her body. That's her choice. Okay. If she decides that if she personally decides of her own volition, without any enticement from another, that what she wants to do with her physical form
Yeah.
is go whore it out for cash.
Yeah.
I can't stop her.
So I guess.
Right.
In that
But
sense.
if she's being forced, and someone's making her do that, then that's a problem, bro. Yeah.
Can I jump in here? I think I got a good segue here because I'm gonna go ahead and agree with my roommate, and it ties into the actual question that we're still dwelling on, which is probably my favorite question in the quiz. The rich should pay a higher tax rate than the middle class, and at the same time, a woman should have the power to do what she wants with her body. It's an actual feminist point of view to like cheer on a porn star for getting rich.
Right. So you're for
doing what she
prostitution.
loves.
You're for prostitution.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. If she likes,
I don't
Yeah.
support anything like that. What I'm saying is it's going to happen one way or another.
Right.
So if it's going to happen and it's happening legally, and she's made the choice and it's a legal choice, who am I to tell somebody they can't do what they want to do with their body? Men do it all the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you're not pro prostitution, but if they want to do it, it's all up to them.
I'm not pro anything negative, but I live in the real world.
Right.
Okay, so
And
you
in
think
the
it is
world I
negative?
live in,
It is
if
negative.
it's not, what I think is anything that's filled with immorality and debauchery is negative, but it exists for
So
human beings.
even if a girl chooses to sell her body for money, you think that's bad.
I personally would not want my daughter or my sisters selling their body for money.
Yeah, I mean, but that's
Okay,
but if it's not
from a
of your
personal
family
perspective.
though. But if it's not,
But if my sister was doing it, if my sister was saying, "Hey, this is what I like to do,"
well,
I'm
that's
a stripper.
personal.
I know.
That's personal though.
But I know. But objectively speaking, I know strippers who make shit tons of money, and that they only let you look at them. They're not having sex. They're not
That's
fucking.
power.
You know what I'm saying? They're not fucking. They're not doing any of that sex shit. They're like, yo, I'm hot. You want to look at me? Sure, you can look at me. You want to pay me lots of money to see me, so you can go home and whatever. Yeah, that's the power of pussy. That's the power of women. They've been around for a long time. I mean, last time I checked, from a biblical perspective, the only individual that was able to dissuade man from following the laws of God was a damn woman.
Yeah.
That's the power they had.
Yeah.
That's the power of a woman from a biblical perspective.
Do you believe in having multiple wives if it's legal?
Multiple wives?
Yeah.
Why would I need all them problems?
Well, I mean,
that's a whole lot of headache.
do you think it's morally
I like
wrong?
one woman, one man. I like one. If a woman that I'm married to or dating. And here's the thing about marriage: that's a man-made concept. You know what I'm saying? There
That's a
wasn't no preacher in the
female-made
Garden of Eden.
concept. That is a
That
female-made
was a
concept.
that was a. I don't care how you're splitting hairs. It was a human concept. The need to bind someone with some piece of metal and paper to make them your slave or whatever the fuck it is you're trying to do, that's a man-made concept, because we just can't exist together and be happy together. If my girlfriend, like I had a girlfriend, if she says, baby, this is my friend, she's hot, right? I'm like, yeah, she's super hot. She's like, I'm going to sleep with her if you let me. I'm like, okay. And she's like, you can sleep with her too. And I'm like, okay. You know what I'm saying? If that's what they want to do, great. That's their bodies. They're women. If they say, we want to sleep with you, I'm going to say, okay. But if my woman wants to be monogamous, go. I'll be back. I'll be there in a minute. If my woman wants to be monogamous, I'm totally respectful of that, because I'm kind of that kind of a guy. I like monogamy. I think it's totally cool.
Right. But you don't necessarily seem to have an opinion on polygynous or monogamous views.
No, that was a pretty
my-
strong opinion.
That was my strong opinion. I'm not Jesus Christ. I don't judge. I don't walk around the earth acting like I'm better than anyone because I have an opinion or a view. I exist next to every single other person on the planet. You live on the same rock. The best thing we can all do is figure out a way to get along homogeneously, well, enjoy each other's company while we're here, and save the drama.
So you're definitely not pro-marriage. You don't think we need it. You don't see any values to that?
Oh, the next question.
Wait,
Doc, are you finally going on to the next question? Number 9.
Well, we didn't really agree on the.
Well, we can keep discussing it, because it's not like we need to change the discussion just because Dale said number 9.
No.
I mean, what were you saying?
Yeah.
What were you saying? Make your point.
So I was just trying to ask you about polygynous views. You were saying that you don't really like marriage. You don't think it's necessary, right?
No. What I'm saying is, human-made marriage, right? When you take someone as your consort, as your life partner, as your whatever you want to call it, that's a choice you both made. That means you married each other. So if I'm with a woman for 20 years and only her, but we never went in front of a judge or a preacher and did the paperwork or whatever, does that mean we're less married?
No.
That doesn't mean we're less married. Because last time I checked, I'm going to say this again, Noah didn't jump in front of a preacher and get married. Neither did Adam. Neither did any of the people from the past before marriage was made a profitable institution for society.
So now what you're doing is you're separating legal marriage from the state, and then kind of a verbal marriage. So you believe in verbal marriage, but you don't believe in a legal marriage to the state.
Human marriage. You understand what I'm saying? If I want to get married right now, I have two choices. If the woman I'm with says, I love you, and I say, I love you, and she says, I only want to be with you for the rest of my life, the end of my days, and I say the same. I don't have to go before a judge or a preacher to do that. I could go before a Wiccan Celtic witch and get married for all intents and purposes. You understand what I'm saying? I go before a freaking Satanist person and go get married for a Buddhist. It doesn't make a freaking difference if I have to really take it that far and be like, hey,
Right. So
we
if
need
you
some
have
legit.
So if you have this agreement with the woman, that's fine. But if you have this agreement with 3 women and everybody agrees, is that okay with you?
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's choice.
Yeah.
It's everyone's choice.
Okay.
It's choice. If a woman says, I want to be part of my harem, welcome to my harem.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
All right.
You feel me? Right on.
Right
Yeah.
on.
If she
Okay.
wants to be, that's her choice,
Cool.
man.
So
Cool. Can we kind of go back to?
Yeah, let's
Can
go
we
back.
kind of go back?
Let him finish.
Yeah, let's move. Yeah, let's move.
Finish what you want to say, but can I kind of try to go back to normal
Yeah, we
order
can
at
do
some
that,
point?
but let him finish. This
Yeah,
is
finish your point, of
conversation.
course.
Yeah.
course.
So all right. Well, I got what I wanted from that, but let's go back to the point that if you have lots of money and resources, then you are probably most likely to do bad things. I didn't really
And
get a
you're
lot of
dangerous for the
facts
world.
from you. Just a moment. I didn't get a lot of facts from you guys on
I'll give you
that.
a fact right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give you a
Oh,
fact right
man.
now.
Go ahead.
We'll use Jeff B.
Hang on, no, Charles, please, because I promised him I wouldn't like attack him.
We're
for
not
having
attacking
a-
him.
No, it's
Right.
okay. I'm not offended or anything.
Okay.
This is cool.
All right.
It's all good.
All right, go ahead.
It's all
Go
good.
ahead, guys.
So Doc, I'll use an example. The guy owns Amazon. What's his name?
Jeff
I already
Bezos.
told him about Bezos. Yeah.
Jeff Bezos, right?
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos is the richest guy in the world right now, right?
Yep. Doesn't
Is
make him
he
bad.
giving back or is he still taking? Is he giving back or is he still taking?
He's given a lot.
You are now officially brother. If you're worth $100 billion or whatever he's worth, 80 billion and 90 billion dollars,
Mhm.
right? In his lifetime, he's not gonna be able to spend it. So if I'm him, I think I only want to be worth 20 billion.
So you're for
So the
socialism.
others-
You are for socialism.
So the other, so for the other six, because why have more than I need when others are in need?
Do you know that socialism
Why
killed
would
hundreds
I-
of
why would
millions
I
of
literally
people
sit
in
there
other
and hoard
countries?
money?
Do you know that
Why would
socialism
I-
versus capitalism killed millions and hundreds of millions of people in other countries, and we can see that as a historical fact? Now, I'm not going to say
What
this
you
is a
can
fact,
see is
but
corruption. What you can see is people with money want to have money, want to keep it. That's what
okay,
you can
take
see.
Russia. Same thing happened. Hundreds of millions of people died because of the same socialistic beliefs versus capitalistic beliefs. So what you're
I
talking
didn't say
about.
I was a socialist. You did.
Okay,
I didn't
but
say I
these
was
are
a
beliefs.
socialist.
These are socialistic
That's
beliefs.
no, that's not a belief. I never said that. I haven't once said
You
that I'm
said
a
that
socialist.
people. No,
What
you
I
said.
said is if I personally was Jeff Bezos and I'm worth $80 billion.
Yep.
Well, let me see. $80 billion. What could I possibly do with $80 billion?
That's not you. That's not up to you.
It's
not
my
your
money.
choice.
Why would it not be up to me?
No,
It's
no.
my money. What are you
No,
talking about?
no. You said that if he has this amount, then what can he do
I
with
said
the
if
money?
I were Jeff Bezos, I said
Yeah,
if I
okay.
were Jeff Bezos
Okay, go ahead.
and I had $80 billion.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. If
Then?
I were him with $80 billion,
Then.
I'd be sitting here saying to myself, well, I got way more than I could spend.
Yep.
I see a crap ton of people out here suffering
Yeah.
while I'm literally living it up, right? I got better things to do with my time than just sit here and continually hoard money. Because at this point,
What
Jeff
should he
Bezos
do
is never
in
gonna
your
be,
mind? What should
he's
he
never
do?
going to be. He's never going to be less than 80 billion.
What should he
because
do?
Amazon's a monster,
What's the solution?
and so is Washington Post and all the whatever else he owns. Right?
You're him. You make all this money. What should you do? What's
what
the
would I
best thing
literally
to
do?
Yeah. What?
Every city in America would have a center for people who, like, as far as I'm concerned, if you want to be an active like that Star Trek world you're talking about, if you want to be an active participant in changing the world, I have a job for you. I'm paying for it. I'm funding it. We are going to go on a world-changing tour, all of us,
He's doing things like
together
that. He's doing things
with
like that.
$60 billion. I'm going to put it on TV. $60 billion of my money.
That's easy
is
for
going
you
to
to
make
say.
this. It's easy to say because it's easy to do.
No, it's easy
It's
for you
easy
to
to
say
do.
because you're not in that position. That's an
It's
idealistic
not
viewpoint.
whether I was in that position or not. I have money all the time, and I give it away all the time.
Well, that's
Anyone who knows me knows that I give my money away.
honorable. That's an honorable thing.
Okay, that's what it's about. Honor, integrity. That's what it's about. That's what's lacking in humanity these days is honor and integrity. This is a bunch of talkers, man. You want to be seen. Want your 15 minutes of fame. You want to be special without doing anything special.
Yeah. I just don't think that at this point in time the world really works like that. I mean, there are
The
great
world doesn't work like that because people are willing to fight for that. Because you're willing to accept the status quo. You're willing to be part of the problem, and you're not willing to be part of the solution.
Well, how do you think he got all that?
Right.
money?
It's really okay. I wanna try to like take over. I want to try to reiterate what Charles is saying because we both like, we're still talking about question 7.
Yeah, and I still just don't
Give me
agree.
a second. Give me a second,
Go
please,
ahead.
because I didn't like. I just want to reiterate what I.
It's okay. It's okay to disagree.
Yeah, of course it's okay to disagree. Yeah. 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 And that's where I was before I put Charlie on the mic.
Yeah.
I hope you had fun, because we were already at a place where I agreed to disagree with you, and that's beautiful. But again, like I don't think it's fair for for Nestle to pay $200 a year to for all the water they want for Lake Michigan, while
Yeah, that's
Flint
corruption
doesn't
at
even
its
get
best.
water. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's
And so yeah,
corruption.
we had a pretty healthy conversation about it. Are you okay after talking to my roommate? Because that was
Yeah,
sounded rough.
I'm fine,
Okay.
dude.
All
Uh,
right.
all right, let's move on to
And then
9. Go ahead.
you kind of touched on 9 a little bit.
So in 7, we'll disagree to disagree there. You guys feel
That's
strongly
cool. That's
that the
cool.
rich are bad and not doing good enough. I
Right.
don't agree with
You
that.
agree but neutral about it. Yeah.
No,
That's cool.
no. I think they should. No,
We're moving on to 9. We're moving on to 9.
all right. Well, I don't agree with that. All right, but let's move on.
Great conversation, Doc.
Oh, good conversation. Thanks.
Great conversation, Doc.
Yeah, thanks for coming through, man.
Thanks for the challenge, bro.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Doc.
Okay, moving on. 9, marriage must be heralded for the important role it plays in society. Um, Now, if I have to consider all viewpoints, and I have to consider what you guys are thinking on that, I would probably say, oh no, that's not the case. But me personally, based on what I've learned about marriage and what it does to a couple, a man and a wife, and then having a kid and a family and supporting the family and your own finances, I definitely have to say yes, that plays a very powerful role and positive role in society. So I'm going to say agree strongly, and I think it matters a lot. I think marriage is important, but that's just based
Wow,
off
that's
my
cool.
personal experiences.
That's totally welcome. I clicked on agree a little.
Okay. So what do you want to expand on that?
Well, I think that people as humans need to form teamwork. Like marriage is important if it's important for you, and it's a personal decision. And times are changing like so drastically that marriage might not be the same thing for everyone. So that's why I had to agree kind of neutrally on this.
Yeah, it's not the same for everyone. Yeah, that's true. It's definitely not. It's based on each individual's goals and what they want to get out of it. For me,
But I did agree that it's important with you. Well,
yeah. Okay, let's move on.
anyway.
All right, 10. Oh, this just keeps going on and on. Oh, I didn't
All
realize
right,
this was
this
so
should
long.
be just as good as number
Oh,
7.
Okay, I see what you meant by we should just go to 10. Yeah, let's stop at 10
Yeah.
because, yeah, I didn't realize there's so many.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll stop at 10.
All right. So
Drum roll,
this
please.
will be the last one. Yeah. All right. So 10.
Bring
Sometimes
your
war.
honesty and your courage.
Yeah.
It's all you.
Yeah.
All
10.
right? I'm gonna turn
Sometimes.
the mic off.
Yeah. 10.
It's all you.
Sometimes war is necessary, even if it means you strike first. Yeah, I think war is definitely important. I don't like how we got baited into World War II by Europe and Germany, but we were also attacked by Japan. So we kind of got really drawn in, and then we brought all our guys over to Europe, and then like millions of people died. I don't like that because I think we may have been able to handle that a little differently. But war is a nasty thing. And then you look at the Obama administration and how so many people were drone bombed, and that's quite a politically charged point of view there. Is it right? Do we have control? Well, when you ask for a government, you give them control, and so you really don't have a say where your government tax dollars go. In that sense, who we're going to wage war with, who we're not going to wage war with. In the end, I do take the strong point that we should be militarily strong. I don't think that we should necessarily be using it as a primary, like a bully kind of thing. But in the realistic sense, you look at versus the Roman Empire, the American Empire versus considering military strength, we're kind of like the Roman Empire. So we're going around the world and we are kind of trying to modernize, and this is really a deep topic because uh, it touches on if someone dies, is it good, right? And that's a really sensitive thing because most people will say, "Oh no, that's a horrible thing. If someone dies, that's not good, right?" But and this touches back on religion, and this is my personal views, and this is really controversial, because if your brother or your mom gets killed or something, most people would have a tough time saying, "Oh, I can see the positive in that. Oh, I see why that's good." And this is why I believe that there's in kind of like a fate, a destiny thing, that if someone close to you was killed or murdered for whatever reason, I think that it must have a positive. I tend to look at it as a pessimist, as a just a that it must have a positive outlook. There must be a positive reason why that person was taken from us. And when you look at it in the war sense of things, yeah, killing is bad. The Bible tells us that it's a law against God. You shall not murder someone. Yet we recruit people to murder other people. But when you look at it as in a sense of technological evolution, and the technologies and that have evolved through war, and you see how many millions and billions of dollars that countries are spending to just defend ourselves, defend. That's part of human nature, and a lot of things in human nature we want to hide away and keep away into our dark closet, like killing, violence, those kinds of things. But it's kind of who we are, and it's more difficult to take away than you would imagine. If you take it away from Earth and you say, okay, well, all of Earth is peaceful, and now we live in a peaceful, homogeneous society where everything's great, and you go into space and you have this kind of Star Trek type of world, well, it gets reset and it happens again. Except for now you're not killing humans, you're killing aliens. And you're fighting the same wars that you were on Earth. Why is that? Because we live in this that is innate to our human characteristics, that it's built into us. And why is that? Because back in the caveman days, in evolution, if you did not defend yourself, you will become a victim. You will die, and someone will come, some other tribe will come. And why will they come? Because they want to reproduce. They want to take your women. So they will come in, they will kill you, they'll take your women. And so over millions of years...
Intellectual dark web right now. You sound like, come on, libertarian guys that are getting paid. Like, what's that guy's name?
Sounds like Bolton. The dude who works for Trump. What's his name? Tim Bolton? Tom Bolton?
I'm talking about...
Sam Harris?
I don't know. No, okay, I can look it up.
Jordan Peterson? I don't know.
But anyway, so check this out.
Yep.
People don't want war.
Nobody wants war, but it's part of who we are.
It's not a part of
No,
who we
it's
are.
not really.
Okay, let me just finish the last point I was going to say, then I'll let you retort. So, based on evolution, based on back in the caveman days, we had tribes of people. And in those tribes, you had a group that's friendly, your folks, and you had your women. And the other tribes were combative. And we learn over time that other tribes are not friendly, and they will come and they will attack you and they will fight you. And if you don't defend yourself, then you will die, and they'll take your women, and your line will not move on. And that has showed over a history of time that the similar things are true. Now, as we're in the modern society, it's not so true. So in the modern sense of the world, we don't really need war so much as we did. But that history of our evolution put those into our genes, that trained our genes to be defensive, to be warlike. If somebody punches you in the face, you're going to have a reaction. You're going to feel something. And that's innate in us. Go ahead.
Joining me today is
Dave Rubin. That's who you sound like.
I don't know.
Dave
Oh,
Rubin
Dave.
is
Yeah, I know.
quote unquote anarchist libertarian who is actually funded by, get ready for it, the Koch brothers.
Uh-huh.
And so, when you say it's okay to be a billionaire,
Yeah.
look at this guy's goofy face. I wish you could see my screen right now.
I see him. I got a picture of him up.
Yeah. I want to vomit on him. It would be the funnest ride I could get on.
Well, just because you love Cenk, and you love what
Cenk.
she's saying, the Young Turks are saying.
No, Cenk is okay. Well, he was better before he got $20 million from somewhere. Yeah, he got it from somewhere that wasn't quite right. It was sort of connected to the Koch brothers, I think.
Yeah, I'm not too far up on what Dave Rubin's saying, but go ahead and just respond to what I was saying.
Go ahead. Repeat. Go ahead. Right. Can you
Well, you were saying that people don't want war, and that I was saying that of course they don't want war, but it's a built-in thing.
It's not a built-in thing.
Oh, okay.
It's not
No.
there, bro. Back to
So I
Yeah.
can't hear the other
Trump.
guy, Charles. I can't hear you very well. You got to
Yeah.
be a little closer if you want to talk.
Right. No, I'm
I just hear him very quietly in the background.
trying to do my best to actually hog the mic, but it's failing.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, somebody.
Hey, Doc, listen,
Yeah.
bro. All with that thing that you said about war.
Yeah.
Okay, you made that point about beginning of mankind and all that. Cain killed Abel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So mankind has been violent throughout its history on
Right.
the planet Earth. Yes, you're absolutely right.
Right.
But that wasn't war. You understand what I'm saying?
How is that not war? How is violence not war?
That's no. Violence is never what? Violence and war are two separate things.
It's the same thing. It's just
You know what I'm
a
saying?
more complex word.
If someone comes up to me in the street and tries to do violence against me, that's not war.
What is your
That's just
definition
someone
of
trying to do
war?
violence.
What is your definition of war?
That definition of war are when parties come together who cannot agree and have decided that the only course of action that they can take, right, rather than being civilized and conversating like humans.
Okay, so
They
two or
took
more. Sorry, so two or more
Yeah.
is war.
No, yeah,
One guy's not
yes.
war.
You can't have a war with one person. Yeah, look, you can have a social war. Like people doing social media with these whack ass people on social media, like Floyd Mayweather and 50 Cent are having a social media war. That's gay. I mean, and when I say not in the gay sense of disrespecting homosexuals,
Yeah.
but in the old school 20th century way of that's gay as fuck. You know what I'm saying? But that's a war, right? Okay, so no one's gonna die in that unless they meet somewhere and see each other and bullets start flying or some shit, right? But
Uh-huh.
there are all kinds of ways of going. You can go to intellectual wars. You know what I'm saying? I can beat you at better patents. You say you know a better way, of creating free energy versus me. I say you don't, right? I say, well, let's go to war about that, bro. Let's see who gets there first. You understand what I'm saying? That
Uh-huh.
can be a war.
Uh-huh.
But as far as violence, as far as using violence for war, you know what I'm saying? That's at the level that we're at in the 21st century. We have, dude, we're weaponizing little mosquitoes that are like not even real. We're creating bugs,
I don't think that's
just
bad.
fake ass
I don't
bugs
think that's
for
bad.
war. No, for war, because
I don't think it's bad.
we're here, brother. Okay, we're
Because we're
creating
increasing
problems.
technology.
We're increasing technology, but not for the betterment of mankind.
You can't see that now because you're blinded by the facts that you are presenting. But if you look at the bigger
Wow.
picture,
So you're telling me death? So you're telling me death, nuclear bombs
Yes.
falling upon people? Because here's the thing about what you're saying. You live in
nuclear
Japan.
bombs
so
creating
you be one of the
nuclear
first-
reactors,
you-
which
no,
creates power and life
Doc,
for many people.
Hey, Doc. Doc, do you live in Japan?
Yep.
You'll be one of the people to die.
Okay.
Okay? Since you like war so much. You
Okay.
and your wife.
Okay.
Okay?
Great.
Because your particular country where you live,
Yep.
right, for the enemies of America,
Uh-huh.
right? You're close to most of them. You know what I'm saying?
Not
So if
concerned
there's
at
gonna
all.
be, no. Here's my thing. If there's gonna be a war, then people in all areas of the world are gonna be affected, meaning you as well.
Okay,
But
great.
here's the problem. Here's the point that I'm trying to make. Those people who are creating this war, these wars that are, necessary because we just have to do wars, right?
Are guns bad?
They're gonna be they're gonna be safe and sound. So the presidents of the United States and most of the cabinets and all those people, they're gonna be in some bomb-proof, bunker-proof thing, chilling, drinking wine, and having lattes and chilling
Yeah.
while you're all dying, since you like war so much. So Putin and Merkel and the king and the queen of England and the kings and queens of all these people who money doesn't matter, you know what I'm saying? Because yeah. See, that money is gonna have all their asses safe and protected.
I don't.
And
That
living
doesn't bother me.
good.
That does not bother me.
It
at all.
doesn't bother you
Not at all.
that you, your wife, and everyone you know and love is gonna die
No.
because you are at war.
No, because I'm an optimist and I see that the world
And
does not surround. Just a moment. The world does not revolve around me. That's what I know, and that's why it doesn't bother me. And I know that whatever technological advances come from the science of war that we're studying so hard in America, that there will be positive prevalence from it.
Build
Sorry,
the
I'm a
bridge.
bit
I wanna
optimistic.
be here to build the bridge. Okay.
Oh.
So Doc,
Your
I
voice
wanna
is very
thank
quiet.
you very much
Quiet.
for being brave
Yeah.
to my roommate's criticisms
Yeah.
and no, I really appreciate you being brave to it and listening to it and just of course. It's not a straight up attack, of course, but
He's a
just
grown man.
Charles, please, can I go back to building the bridge?
Yeah. What bridge? There's no broken bridge.
I don't think there's a
We're
broken.
two adults having a
Of
conversation
course.
of difference.
Yeah,
We don't need you building a bridge.
okay,
Tell
but
them your opinion and talk to them about
Cool.
your opinion.
right
I
on.
agree.
Can
I
talk
agree.
about-
Just talk about what you believe. You don't gotta patch things up
That's what I'm
because
trying
it's
to
not
do. Trying
damaged.
to, yeah. Okay, so sometimes war is necessary even if you strike first. I disagree strongly, and I think it matters a lot because
Okay.
we often get lied to about why we're going to war. We're going to war
Yeah.
for the oil companies.
Yeah,
and
I agree
for-
with that. And I don't think they're not giving us all the answers. They're not giving us all the information.
Yeah.
Definitely agree with that. I mean,
I agree too.
yeah, I think it's not fair that we are just these little people and then our countries get to do war with other countries and we don't really have a say, and they give us information, but it's oftentimes false information and not the full story, and we don't really know what's going on, and that's not really fair.
Right, and my piece on that I want to talk about right away is Venezuela. Venezuela has a really strong socialist voting base.
Yeah, what happened there?
the-
I don't know anything about Venezuela. That's a big some political topic that I know
What
nothing about.
happened is they're leftist and they're trying to be a free country,
Yeah.
and yeah, our empire is against that.
Yeah, we don't like that. We need them to go away.
What are we
So we
doing?
can take their away. We're trying to destabilize their government.
Right. Okay. So what we're doing is we're staging protests. We're paying people to protest in Venezuela. The people that are throwing the what are they? The poop cocktails? Poop cocktails?
Yes.
Okay. So look up poop Molotov cocktails or something like poop toms or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, look that up, especially if you got the video. Those people are being paid by rich people in America to do that. When you look at the protesters, all the people that are dressed all fancy and clean, they're all paid. They're not what the Venezuelans actually think.
Right.
But that's to propagate war, because a couple of months ago they were talking about invading Venezuela and going to war with them. Literally, they wanted to go to war with them because of what they called the people's opposition to the current administration. So, if that is true, wouldn't other countries around the world want to go to war? You know what I'm saying? Because of our current administration, right? So you don't see other countries paying Americans to run around and create these false narratives.
Yeah, you
so that
do.
they can,
Yeah, you do. George Soros was going hard as fuck against the Trump campaign
See,
and hiring all
the
these
fact that you
dudes.
know about people like that and I don't means that you're paying attention to the wrong thing.
No, it
See
means
what I'm
that
saying?
I'm
George
observant
Soros
to
is a
facts.
more look. He's a part of the problem. He's a rich person, like I told you
But
before.
no, you're
dude.
trying to make the point that that's not happening, but it is. And the
Well,
fact
it's
that you
not
don't
happening
know
on-
about it
it's not
doesn't mean
happening-
that it's not
it's not-
happening.
Bro, what I'm saying is, it's not happening on the level that other countries are trying to talk about invading America, like we're talking about invading Venezuela.
Well-
Who's talking about invading America?
Oh, God.
Name me the countries that are currently actively talking about invading America.
Well, whatever country Soros is from, they're trying
Just
to take
answer that
over
question.
heavy.
Just answer the question.
I just
What
answered it.
country?
You didn't listen or you
No,
didn't
no.
accept the answer.
No. You said George Soros.
I said
George
whatever
Soros is not a
country
country.
he's from, and also you have Israel. Israel has the only country in the
Israel
world
already
that,
owns America.
that is
Israel
yeah.
already owns
They already own America, exactly.
we're already their bitch.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? We don't have any benefit. There's nothing Israel offers me daily, me as a person. Dale, what does Israel give you every day? Like what like I don't like most Americans don't have oh, go ahead, brother.
We gotta wrap this up, guys. Let's start the final
Bro.
words here.
Okay. Yeah.
Final
yeah.
thoughts.
Anyway. Yeah.
Thank you very much. As you, my roommate Chuck,
Yeah,
very passionate individual.
Yeah.
Very passionate.
It's not a game.
No, yeah, we're kind of like, I guess you could say anti-capitalist, but I
Yeah.
wanted you to like have no fear and bring your honesty, because in my point of view, the way I would have done the conversation if my roommate wasn't here, there would have been like zero hostility. I know, I don't think there is. Charles, I don't.
You're so. Hey, bro. Have you sensed hostility from me, or have you sensed passion
yes,
from me?
yes, a lot of hostility. I felt some negative vibes and anger coming from you. Now
Oh,
you didn't
well, I
attack
would
me
like to-
really, but you said, "Oh, if your wife is gonna die," I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah,
wow."
because I wanted to send that home for you. That's not hostility. I'm sorry if you took it that way. and
yeah, it felt a
I
little.
apologize. I apologize for that because there was no hostile intent meant.
Okay, well, I forgive
What?
you, but
Of course, brother. Of course. It's never hostility.
Okay.
What I wanted you to see and feel is it needs to hit home for it to be real. You see what I'm saying? War is real. Just like what Dale said, if they're using war as an excuse to take oil and do the things they do, that means that your life could be in jeopardy for someone else as well. You're going to die needlessly for no reason. And I know you love your life, and I know you love your wife. So I was thinking, hey, if you send it home, I got kids, bro. I have 2 kids.
Yeah,
I have
me
3
too.
children, actually.
I got a kid.
2 live with me, and 1 lives with my ex-wife. I'm not willing to sacrifice my children or their future so that someone else can get richer.
I don't
and
think
profit off
anyone is, and that's where corruption comes in. And no one says corruption is good. I think everyone would say it's bad.
So you're saying the Pentagon getting, what is it? How much is the deal the Pentagon gets?
Like billions, right?
$80 billion boost to upgrade themselves for wars that I guess they think we're one day going to fight, maybe.
Well, I don't think war is bad.
They're preparing for war. But here's the thing: if you're spending $80 billion, now Dale, that same $80 billion, if we spend it on the people in America, how much would they get? Yeah. So if we spent the money on life instead of death, if we actually spent the money on life instead of preparing for death, wouldn't we be a little bit better as people all around as a nation?
Well, I have to, of course, agree with you there. I mean, that's a very George Roddenberry type of idealistic viewpoint, which is definitely
Actually,
right on
my
point.
friend Doc, right. Right. It was when you mentioned Star Trek that I knew I could no longer keep my roommate contained.
Nope.
because
Because I want the world to be Star Trek because we're that good.
Well, no, it's true. That is where our future will go eventually. But the Earth battle will be transferred to space. Do you not agree?
Well, the Earth battle being transported to space would mean that, like the Klingons, you know what I'm saying, and the Romulans, we would have to encounter some hostile forces out there
Yeah.
who came in clothing.
Same as Earth,
saying?
though. I mean, it's very
We
similar.
don't have to do that, though. We don't have to do that because
I agree.
pretty much they're already here.
I
They're-
agree,
like,
but
they're
when
already
you
here.
look at all the movies, like half of them are like an alien's gonna come and kill us, and we just have to defend. That's like half of the space movies, you know. And so in that
You
sense,
know,
yeah.
That's true.
So in that sense of the word, of viewpoint of the world, it's like we kind of don't have a choice. Like, yeah, we want to come at them and we want to be like, hey, you know, peace, peace, let's handle it. But you know, I mean, you know, again, if you're not investing in let's transfer the Earth argument to space. So you said Pentagon
Wow, this
is.
a whole nother,
hold
dude,
on.
This is gonna take like another hour, bro.
It's-
So,
so ho-
literally, I'm listening. Go ahead.
So the Pentagon's getting 80 billion now. That's the Earth battle, right? But you transfer that to space. The minute you encounter that superior alien race that's just way overpowering you, you're a weak bitch and your whole society is gonna die. The whole planet is just destroyed. So is it
Now,
better? Hold on.
war in
Hold,
that
hold on.
instance is
Question.
good. See,
Question.
war-
Hold on. Question. So is it better
Yeah.
that we just come out as a peaceful guys and we don't have a lot of advanced space weapons? You know, because we didn't choose to invest. We invested in peace stuff. Is it better to not do that or just to invest in the guns just so we have them when those guys come? What do you think?
I want this. All right. I want this. All right.
I'll chime in afterwards.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
gonna be great.
This
Go ahead.
is gonna be great, and take note of the timestamp right now because this is a whole nother episode.
Yeah, we got to wrap this up, dude.
All right.
should we-
So
Go ahead.
if you really want to talk about aliens, it's a whole nother episode. Otherwise, if you
Yeah.
if you want to wrap up at question 10,
Yeah, let's
It's like-
wrap it up. I got to go to work here in a bit, and I got to get
Yeah.
going. So,
yeah.
this sounds like
So
it's just gonna
we
keep
talked
going.
about war to the point where we talked about space wars. So I think we covered every question pretty thoroughly, and we did our job. You know, we openly talked about our opinions, and I hope that's what we do in the future.
Yeah. Hold on one sec. Hold on. Let's cue the outro music here. Hold on. I don't know why it's not coming up. That's strange.
And don't panic. We'll be back.
So
We'll
yeah,
we'll do 10 questions. Yeah, we'll do 10 questions next time, and we'll have just as much fun.
racking our brains, man. Racking our brains, bro. We're hitting it hard on the political front on Doc'sWorld today.
Intelligent conversation is always good conversation.
But hopefully we're
You're not
expanding.
talking to someone. Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You go. Ahead.
Hopefully we're expanding our minds in the progress, right? In the process.
That is the point. There's no point otherwise. You know what I mean?
That's what's up, Doc. Thank you very much.
Okay, guys, thanks for doing it. We'll do it again soon, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome.